Hey friends, today we are getting the most out of our stamps. I'm bringing in 3 different stamps here from Stampin' Up. We have Thoughtful Wishes, Inspirational Sketches, and Elements of Text. And we are going to do a bunch of background stamping onto this white cardstock. I have a few fun techniques to show you. Let's get started. To start, I'm just bringing in a piece of scratch paper here. And it's just inexpensive computer paper, putting that behind the edges, and I'm bringing in my blending brush. I'm going to use some charcoal. This is a close to my heart color, but just any gray will work if you're wanting to get the same look as me. And I only have it in a mini, so we're just going to use that. And I like to start on the scratch paper off my page a little bit and then work my way on and just kind of flick it on. This is going to be a double page layout, so I am only going to do 3 edges of the paper. And I'm being a little sloppy. You can kind of see where it ends, so you can kind of blend that out, but I'm going to be adding so many layers that you're not going to notice that so much. I am using a circular motion here. You can bring it up a little ways if you'd like. I'm only coming in maybe a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. I'm not coming up real far into the center of the page. We're mostly doing a border. I'm not going to be stamping directly where my photo mats are. Next, I'm bringing in this stamp here. It's the rectangle of the Elements of Text. This is a cling stamp, so I don't need to have a foam piece under my white paper here. It creates its own foam. And then I'm using the Stampin' Right markers, and these have 2 different tips. They have like a pointed tip, and then they have a brush tip. And these take a little bit longer to dry, so you can actually color directly onto your stamp. And I thought this was so fun. So I'm bringing in 2 of the colors. This one's Night of Navy, and this one is Basic Gray. So what I did was I just kind of sloppily, I used the brush tip, and I just kind of ran that over, and I'm just going in the center on this one. I've played around with different techniques, and then the gray, I just went around the edges, and you want to make sure you don't get it on the surface of the stamp because it could come off onto your page, which again, we are layering, so it's okay. And I'm not being perfect either. If I don't get full coverage, it's okay. I'm again layering, adding shading and whatnot. So let's start on this side. And actually this page is gonna go this way, so back to this side. Okay, and if it's starting to dry, you can just kind of blow on it like and it'll kind of moisten it back up, and then we'll stamp it down. And I am allowing it to hang off the page. So I don't know if you can see that, but we have the darker Night of Navy and then the lighter gray over here. So we're gonna do that a couple other times. I'm going to bring in that brush again. And this time I'm just kind of gonna go maybe in a zigzag. So I got it kind of down the middle, and then I went over to the edge and then back down to that corner. I'm using my stamp chamois here to get that ink off of there so we don't get an ink spot on our layout. Coming back in with the Night of Navy. Make sure we're using that brush tip. Again, if we don't get complete coverage, it's fine. It'll just look like it faded a little bit. And then let's do some down here. So we'll go right about there. And I'm thinking maybe up here too. I am also bringing in that round one from the Elements of Text, and this one I'm actually just going to use my charcoal ink again. And since this is a small block and a huge stamp, I'm just going to run it across here. And if it's not full coverage, again, I'm okay with it looking like it kind of faded or, you know, whatnot. I am going to bring in my scratch paper again, and I'm going to stamp this one down in this corner to fill in. Okay, and we could do one up here. Next, I'm bringing in this stamp from the Thoughtful Wishes. And honestly, I did not use this stamp as much as I should have when I first got it. I didn't because I didn't want to stamp it all in one color. But then after getting these markers, oh my gosh, I've been having so much fun. So I'm using the green and I'm going over like the base of that flower bud and the leaves and the stems. And then I'm using the Blackberry Bliss, and this is such a beautiful color. I love Blackberry Bliss. I'm usually not a purple fan, but this color is just stunning. Kind of making them look like little thistles. Okay, again, you can kind of puff some air on that, and then we're going to stamp off the page a little bit, right about there. Isn't that stunning? I love that. So let's add a few more. Again, just coloring in the stems. I keep opening the wrong one. With that brush tip. I got all of those thistles stamped. So now we are going to add a little more of that Night of Navy blue with this texture stamp. And this one comes from the Inspirational Sketches. So I'm just using the Night of Navy again, and I'm focusing on just the center of this. I'm just kind of focusing on the center and letting it go, you know, not perfectly out to the edges. And then we'll just stamp that around and kind of fill in these spots that we have openings. I don't want to add too much. I am going to add a few more layers with some other stamps. So just kind of filling in a little bit and adding some more of that darker blue. And I'm overlapping my other stamping. Up there. See how it kind of fades out there? Okay, that just brings in some more of that Night of Navy and makes the Night of Navy pop in those letters. Now I have this splatter stamp, and this is from Elements of Text. And I'm going to do Second Generation Mist. Now, Mist is a close to my heart color, but use what you want to use that you think will coordinate. And I am just filling in these empty spots with Second Generation. I'm rotating my stamp. I'm kind of overlapping some of my other stamping. This one I might do a couple on, and I'm just doing Second Generation. And you can kind of go in more. The inside of my page is looking messy, but no worries, we are going to get that fixed. I'm going to do just a little bit over here. I think that's looking good. Actually, I'm going to leave my mist ink out, and I am going to do first generation with just this little splatter from the Thoughtful Wishes. Just kind of overlapping and filling in all of those areas. I got my other side done, so I have a double page. Now what I am picturing for my photos and in the center is kind of going across like this. This is some grape paper, and it looks a lot like the purple I used in my stamping. So I was playing with the idea of maybe doing some purple going across, but then I also have in the Thoughtful Wishes the thin cuts that coordinate with this. So I thought I could cut out some purple flowers and some green stems and use that to overlap my photos and kind of bring in more purple. So then I'm thinking that might be too much purple. I have Sapphire, which coordinates well with the Night of Navy. So I thought maybe I could do Sapphire and go across both pages. Or I have Mist, which we used Mist in all of that ink. So Mist definitely goes good, but I kind of want to bring in some more of those other colors. I decided to cut my Sapphire paper to 10.5 by 7.5. And then I made my own little photo mats here. So I have a 4x4, 4x6, 3x4, and 2 3x3s. And then same over here. So we can fit a ton of photos. And I just did them in different orientations. I don't know what my photos are going to be of yet, so I thought this was very usable. We have squares, we have verticals, we have horizontals, and just one large focal photo. So I love how these photo mats fit on here, and then I'll just trim my photo slightly smaller. So this is a true 4x4 and a true 4x6. I used some charcoal, and this is an old doily stamp set or die cut that I got from Close to My Heart. So I love the doily. Thought it'd be nice with all these flowers. I had just a little piece of paper left, so I just did a partial, but that's okay because we're going to slide some underneath. To layer these, you take the one with the flower buds, that's your base, and then you layer the green on top, so then all you see are the flowers peeking through. So I'll go ahead and get that glued together using my Barely Art glue, and I ran that through a few times, so I have a couple more I can make here. I am going to add my title up here. I added 3 little clusters, and I think I'm going to add a little more to those clusters, but while I'm thinking on that, I'm going to work on my title. So I'm just going to flip this one over here, and for my title, I'm going to bring in that same purple that I used for the little flowers there, and I'm actually going to do some heat embossing. So this is my white embossing powder and my Versamark ink. I need a stamping block, and I'm using some old stamps from my collection. This is the Moxie alphabet from Close to My Heart. I'm just going to stamp out Dream. My title is going to read Living the Dream because that works for any layout, any picture. So I am just going to stamp that out, and then these do come with coordinating thin cuts as well. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to put some of my cornstarch on the paper just to reduce the static, so hopefully I don't get that powder in places that I don't want it. And then I'm just bringing my will go ahead, and I like to just use a coffee filter. And we'll just pour that on. I like to just heat up my heat tool first and then bring it to my paper. For the Living the, I'm using the mini alphabet dies, and this cuts out all of the letters all at once. So it's really nice. You get all of them, and there's even duplicates of the most used letters like A, H, L, S. So that is great when creating your title. A lot of times you can just run it through once and be good. So I have Living the and Dream down here, and I might pop Dream up on foam. I'm not quite sure yet. I think it might look nice. And then it could kind of overlap my photos too a little bit and kind of brace that. This I'll go ahead and adhere straight down using my Barely Art Glue. And this will be easy to line up since I have the photo mat here. I'm going to add some little word sentiments to my clusters. So I'm going to bring in Sapphire, which matches the photo mat. And I want one here for sure. These are just little banners. They're like chipboard from my stash. So I'm going to stamp some of these sentiments that are just from my stash that would work for any layout. So I saw that there's one that says it's the little things. So I think that could go good on one, and it fits perfectly. And then I have Living the Good Life, which kind of goes with Living the Dream. So I could stamp that on one. Captured Memories. That'd be perfect because obviously that's what we're doing when we scrapbook, is capturing memories. So let's see if I can, yes, these do fit on my block. And then I'm just going to slide this one out of the way here so I don't get any ink on there. And then I'm just going to stamp away. So this one, I know I want the banner going this direction. So we're gonna put, it's the little things closest to that side with the banner. It's a little crooked, but I think it'll be all right. We'll set that aside to dry. This one has the banner on both ends. So I think Captured Memories. Which one fits better over here? I think I want that one over there because Living the Dream and then Living the Good Life are on opposite ends. So this one's gonna go on the double-tailed banner. I got a little off. We might need to rotate this. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so that one's gonna go over there. A lot of times you can't tell they're crooked once you get them on your layout, so don't be so hard on yourself. And this is handmade, so. And then we'll have the banner going this direction again, so we'll stamp it closest to that side. Although this one's pretty long, so I don't know that it really matters. Just try to get it center. And there we go. We do just need to trim off the ends. So it's the little things. Living the Good Life. And Captured Memories. If you've been around a little while, you know I've been loving these antique pearls. So I'm going to add just a few of the smallest ones. There are 3 different sizes. I might bring in a few of the medium-sized ones, we'll see. But I think just adding those to the clusters will add just a little pop. Yeah, actually we are going to add a medium one. And I like to just add them in groups of 3, kind of in a triangular formation. For still shots of this layout, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My links are down in that description box. Just hit that more down at the bottom of this video and you will see those links. I hope this inspired you to use your stamps and yeah, create your own pattern paper. I love all those antique pearls sparkle. I will be documenting when I get pictures on this layout, so stay tuned. I'm not sure when that will be. It might be way down the road, but I do like to show you guys how I add my photos. And if I don't have this many pictures, I can always add more embellishments or journaling in these sections as well. So lots of room for photos, but very easily adaptable if I don't have as many photos. If I have even more, I can always add flip-flaps or page dividers. But usually I don't have a problem having too many photos. I usually take way too many and have to narrow it down for the layout. So I don't think that'll be a problem having to fill in these sections, and then of course my journaling in one of them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow. It recommends this video to other people. Leave me a comment down below, and until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye guys.